Well, good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about parallelism. And I want you to know that parallelism comes under the canon of elocution. So this exercise is not about trying to figure out what to say, how to come up with ideas, and it's not about how to arrange the ideas in order to persuade. Today, parallelism is a scheme that's about how to say it so that it's fun for the reader and makes the most impact in terms of the flow of words. So you might remember that a parallelism is a scheme in which two or more words, phrases, or clauses are lined up as the same parts of speech, types of phrases, clauses. So that's why we reviewed the parts of a sentence and the parts of speech in class. I think the fastest way to explain this is just to give you examples. And so here we have one. I came, I saw, I conquered. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The Romans destroyed Numantia, razed Carthage, obliterated Corinth, overthrew Fregellae. I don't know how to say that word, I just made that up. I understood, pondered a while, and concluded that the only way I could retire with a shred of dignity was to go to the bathroom. That's Scout from To Kill a Mockingbird. This is Shakespeare from Julius Caesar, and this is Ad Herennium, which I don't even know what that is. But you can see that all of these things, they roll off the tongue. They appeal to your ear, and they are easy to remember, and they have a confidence about them, that this was a very deliberate word choice and that the writer knew exactly what he was trying to communicate, he or she. So, I came, I saw, I conquered. A scheme in which two or more words, phrases, or clauses are lined up as the same parts of speech. It's exactly what you have here. You have a subject-verb, subject-verb, subject-verb. If you've done IEW, you might call this a triple, okay? Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Another triple, right? We have a noun, and a noun. Lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. So you have your transitive verb and your direct object, transitive verb, direct object. And that sounds so much more confident and is easier to remember than, I come to bury Caesar, not to say nice things about him. Or, I come to bury Caesar, I'm not here to say a bunch of stuff about him to make you feel good, right? That wouldn't be parallel. But this is a scheme of parallel parts of speech. The Romans destroyed Numantia. So we have a past tense, we have an action verb and a direct object. Razed Carthage, same thing, action verb, direct object. Obliterated Corinth. Overthrew Fregellae. So this is like a phrase, right? This is a clause. These are phrases. This is word parallelism. This is phrase parallelism. I understood, pondered a while, and concluded. So you would call that a triple in IEW, but here it's a past tense verb, right? So it's word parallelism. I understood, pondered a while, and concluded that the only way I could retire with a shred of dignity was to go to the bathroom. So these are good, solid, attractive examples of parallelism. But now I want to look at some passages that haven't been made parallel yet, okay, and see what we can do about that. Starting off with, she liked gardening and to cook. You know, that would be so much better to the ear if I wrote, she liked gardening and cooking. Or I could flip it and do the other verb form. And I could say she, liked to garden and to cook. So that's just a simple example. Next we have my husband Tim. He bought me flowers. He also got fencing for our family at Lowe's because, after the hurricane, after Irma, the fences all collapsed. So he went and bought some more fence to put up and some soda while he was out because we like those big Wawa sodas. So he brought some home for me and some for him. But what if I wanted this to be parallel? Well, I could just do it at the level of word parallelism. I could say Tim bought me flowers, fencing, and soda. And that is parallelism at the level of words, because those are all nouns. The tricky thing is if he bought the fencing for our whole family, and he bought a soda for him and a soda for me. So if I want to be a little self-centered, it's not totally inaccurate to say he bought me the flowers, the fencing, and the soda. Or I could just leave out the me. I could say, Tim bought flowers, fencing, and soda today. If I want to be a little more vivid and specific, I might say, Tim bought flowers at Publix, fencing at Lowe's, and soda at Wawa's. And you can see how much better that sounds. Instead of, Tim bought me flowers, he also got fencing for our family at Lowe's and some soda. Instead, I'm going to say, Tim bought flowers at Publix, fencing at Lowe's, and soda at Wawa's. Those are parallel phrases. A noun, a preposition, another noun. Noun, preposition, noun, noun, preposition, noun. Okay? Now, my final example has to do with proofs and the type of essay, the persuasive essays that we've been writing. So, if you remember, several weeks ago, we just considered the issue of whether or not Goldilocks should have run away when the three bears came home. And we decided to defend or persuade that she should not have run away. And we had three strong proofs or reasons. One is because it was dangerous. Another is because the bears were probably nice. And our final reason is because it was rude. So let's say I wanted to make those proofs parallel. Well, probably the easiest thing to do is to say Goldilocks should not have run away because it was dangerous, it was rude. So those are already parallel, right? It was dangerous, it was rude. What are we going to say about the bears? The bears were probably nice. What do we have here? We have a noun, a linking verb, and a predicate adjective. A noun, a linking verb, and a predicate adjective. I'm going to say the bears seemed nice. So I have a noun, a linking verb, and a predicate adjective. Goldilocks should not have run away because it was dangerous, because it was rude, and because the bears seemed nice. That works. That's parallel. It's not super compelling or powerful or exciting, though. And the reason is because I'm using linking verbs. Really, what I should do is I should try to spice it up. I could start with the bears were probably nice, which actually that is a linking verb too, right? Were. So the bears were probably nice. I want it to be more active, so I need an action verb here. The bears I have to think about this, okay? I'm going to think about it for a while and then I'm going to come back. Okay. The bears were probably nice. I want to make that stronger. I'm going to say the nice bears wouldn't hurt her. Would not hurt her. And now I need to sort of analyze it. So I have an adjective, right? Nice. Bears, that's my noun. Would not hurt her, this is my verb, and then her is my direct object. So now I want to make the other two things match that so that they're parallel. So Goldilocks should not have run away because the nice bears would not hurt her. It was dangerous. I need a subject for that. So what is it that was dangerous? I'm going to say the woods were dangerous, right? So now I need an adjective to describe the woods. And I'm going to say the lonely woods might hurt her. So see how I copied the exact same pattern? I have an adjective, a noun, a verb, and a direct object. The nice bears would not hurt her. The lonely woods might hurt her. And see that my personification that I snuck in there. Pretty cool. And now I have it was rude. So again, I've got this same problem of I don't really want to use a linking verb because linking verbs kind of suck the energy out of sentences. I mean, you have to use them sometimes, but this is sort of an overuse of linking verbs. I think what I want to say is rudeness. Oh, let's say bad manners, because that's parallel, right? I've got my adjective bad, manners, ruin, relationships. So the nice bears would not hurt her, the lonely woods might hurt her, and bad manners ruin relationships. That's parallel. So what I want you to do is try to make your proofs parallel. And you can use linking verbs if you want, but mess around with it a little bit and wrestle and see if you can get 3 parallel proofs without using linking verbs. And do you see how I had to rename my ideas? So I did my Annie chart, right? And I sorted my ideas and I named them. And I came up with my 3 best reasons why Goldilocks shouldn't have run away. But then in my efforts to make them parallel, I had to rename my ideas. And so it's the same essence of what I'm saying, but I named it a little differently to help the reader be able to remember it and to help it sound better and to help it come across as more competent. Okay? Let's do one more example of parallelism. Let's say that I considered the issue considering whether I should trust God. Okay? So I'm considering whether I should trust God. And I'm going to pull my information and my proofs from Psalm 139. So I made an Annie chart, and I had some reasons why I should trust God, and then I had some reasons why maybe I shouldn't. So one of the reasons why I shouldn't is that it seems like the darkness is going to overwhelm me. I don't understand the part about enemies. It makes me nervous, God knowing everything about me, right? So that might go under my reasons why, I think maybe I won't trust God. It seems like bad things still happen. Or I found some reasons to trust God, and I picked my 3 best ones. And so the first reason that I picked to trust God, which by the way, this is the side I decided to take, was that God knows everything. If you remember in Psalm 139, he knows when I sit down and when I rise up, and he scrutinizes my path and my lying down, and he's intimately acquainted with all my ways. Before there's even a word on my tongue, God knows what it's going to be. So I think I should trust God because he knows everything. And then the other reason I think I should trust God is because God is always with me. He's everywhere. So if you remember in the psalm, he's enclosed me behind and before, he's laid his hand upon me, and where can I go from his spirit? Where can I flee from his presence? If I ascend to heaven, he's there. If I make my bed in Sheol, behold, he's there. If I take the wings of the dawn, if I dwell in the remotest part of the sea, even there, I can't remember. Even there, his hand will, whatever, his right hand will lead me or something like that. Anyways, God will be with me in all of those places. So my second reason why I think I should trust God is because he's always with me. He's everywhere. And then my final reason why I think I should trust God is because God he wove me together, and all my days are in his book. He wrote my days in his book. So that's my third reason right here. So I've got, I should trust God. Based on proofs from this text, God knows everything. God is always with me. He's everywhere. And God wove me together and wrote all my days in his book. What if I wanted those proofs to be parallel? What would I do? Well, let's just start with the nouns, okay? So if God knows everything, what could I name that would be a noun? I'll call it knowledge. So I should trust God because he has all knowledge. God is always with me. He's everywhere. What's the noun for that? Well, I thought about it, and then in the passage, Psalm 139, it talks about his presence. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? I like that word, presence. So I'm going to say I should trust God because God has all knowledge, but also I should trust God because of his continual presence in my life. Those are parallel, right? And then finally I have God wove me together in my mother's womb, right? He skillfully made me, and he wrote all my days in his book. So what does that mean when someone makes a plan and then they work the plan and they write things down? Oh, it's planned. That's what we're going to call it. So now I need an adjective because we have all knowledge, continual presence. I'm going to call it the master plan. So I should trust God because he has all knowledge, because of his continual presence in my life, and because of his master plan. So you see how, as the listener, that helps you, it creates some pegs for you. And now as I go on to explain what else that passage says, it's easier for you to remember. And it sounds better than I should trust God because God knows everything, because God is always with me, and because God wove me together. Those are true and those are okay. But if you rename, like I sorted and I named these, but now I named them again, and they mean the same thing, but they're lined up in a way that rolls off the tongue, sounds good to the ear, and helps the reader understand and remember what it is that I'm trying to say. And also, it shows that I'm confident. It shows that I made a choice about this. I thought about it. This is very deliberate, and that's more persuasive if I'm trying to persuade someone of something. Okay? So I hope that is helpful to you, and I'm very excited to see your outlines when we get together again. And I would really like you to try to rename your proofs so that they're parallel. Just wrestle with it. It might be too hard. I understand that it's the first time, but I really want you to spend some time trying, maybe ask someone for help, and just see what happens. I think it'll be neat.